shifting gears now to a different subject. It's a nice way of having a day full of different things to think about where you don't get drowned in one place, but you can think about how the world still ticks and progresses. Franz Enzenhofer, when I worked at Red Bull, we used to talk a lot about local heroes and supporting local heroes, athletes and musicians. Franz in the digital scene is definitely a fucking local hero. When I moved here in 2002 and then back here in 2011, his name was always on agendas of really cool people to meet with and speak to. He says that dev thinking is a project approach to simplify, execute, and scale cross-department projects and clean up organizational messes in less than 2 days. Right? So if we've got an hour with him, and he can clean the whole thing up in 2 days, then imagine what we're able to accomplish in the next 50 or 60 minutes. I'll leave that to him. I welcome him to the stage. Franz, come up and say hi to the crew. Welcome. Hi.
Hi, everybody. So, first of all, I don't really see you. And usually I like to have the presentation behind me so I can always pinpoint, but this is not going to be possible. So I'm just going to be jumping around. The next thing is, I have been here yesterday and there were a lot of these inspirational talks and inspiration. And are everybody of you inspired? Say something. Yes, okay, awesome, because I don't do inspiration. I'm completely not going to inspire you, because when I talk, it's basically execution. So, what are we going to talk about? It's also, I don't believe in pretty slides, because people who make pretty slides, they either have an agency or they have too much time. So, aligning marketing, development, product to execute growth, dev thinking. So, first of all, about me. I have been speaking in front of an audience for 2 years and getting to get used to it again. Fuck Corona. So, yeah. About me. My name is Franz Enzenhofer, and that's me about the 00s, when I was still very hopeful and I just faked my way into the Austrian version of the dot-com bubble. And it turned out that playing with computers was a much better investment to actually attending school. So, I did a lot of things. Basically, did a lot of the big first websites in Austria. And in 2004, I actually decided that to follow the money. And there was something up like Google, and just the boss of the Austria press agency came to me and said, hey, these clients want to get found in Google. And so I did my first search engine optimization project. And then I followed the money. And since then, like, I'm everywhere. Like in Austria, and German markets, and you cannot go online to go to a website which I haven't touched in a substantial way. Yeah, I think you know all of them. Couldn't be a little bit proud because I also supported like the city of Vienna with the Corona outreach and stuff like this. So I'm there and there, here and basically everywhere, and not a full list. So. And this is how I look like as an experienced SEO. So yeah. Like say my useful happiness was completely gone. And this is the thing that I'm actually doing is my goal is to make all search engine optimization companies, including my own, redundant, so that I can go surfing. So I do not want anything to do with this topic anymore. So I wrote a book. The best book ever. You should definitely read it. It's good. You wanted 3 copies. So, and you already have like 3 copies. So, I wrote this book to make all SEO, search engine optimization agencies completely redundant. And it sold pretty well. It still does. And I declared search engine optimization actually as soft. Like Ludwig Wittgenstein, he completely agrees with me. It's basically done, and nobody needs any do more. So if you want to do it, just read the goddamn book. And yeah, that's it. So the problem is that companies still keep hiring me, and my big question is always, why? Why would they do this? Because the whole topic is actually soft, like growth, search engine optimization. A lot of companies are doing it again and again and again and again. But but still actually they come to me. And the reason why this, because in the heart I'm still this guy, and I developed something called depth thinking. And if you want to know since when I'm developing this, like I invented it for this company, for this conference, because that's what I do. To give my thoughts and my ideas actually a form that I can now present. So, depth thinking applies to developer mindset to cross-department execution challenges. And this is what I'm doing since like the last years again and again and again. And because the thing is that I do not believe in the importance of innovation. I don't. Because execution, like executing something, is much more important. So having a really good execution. And just looking at the Austrian unicorns that are currently around, it's like, what are the Austrian unicorns currently? Like Go Student. Go Student is like giving, don't know the English word, Nachhilfe is giving Nachhilfe via the internet. And there's a lot of companies doing this. Other companies like, I think Verb is going into the direction of a unicorn. They are selling old used phones via the internet. But what these are doing very good is actually into executing. But the thing is, most companies suck at executing. They really suck. Because growth strategies, growing your company online, it's actually solved. Search engine optimization is solved, but the companies still suck at it. So why is this? To execute something of value, to create value, you need marketing, development, and product. I'm always talking about the online stuff, marketing, development, and product. But for lots of companies, it actually looks like this, like there's like this mishmash of nothing, everybody is doing something and it's not realigned, or actually everybody is doing its separate thing. And if you go this way, it's not possible to execute something like a growth strategy where you actually need all of these working together. It's just not possible. And usually when you bring them together, it looks something like this. Yeah. Who has been in such a meeting? Yeah. Okay. A lot of Graz people just raised their hand, so maybe it's something common to here. So, and here basically now the steps that I'm actually doing. I said it's not going to be inspirational. It's like a step process that I'm actually applying. Depth thinking applies to developer mindset to cross-department execution challenges. So what is this developer mindset? The first thing is you need to charge more. Who's a developer here? Yeah, you are expensive. I already know that you're expensive. Are you expensive? Charge more. It's early. Be greedy like a top developer. Why? Because price is not a thing. Price is a relationship. The less they pay you, the less they respect you, and the less they respect you, the less they will execute. When I'm going to a company, I actually make sure that I know before how much money they make. Because if I would charge a startup, if I would start a unicorn or a big old company, and even like Red Bull, hello. If I would charge them the same amount, I would charge a startup, they would not respect me and they would not execute. So I always need to be more expensive the more money they have. Because price is establishing how much they respect you. The next thing I'm going to find out is actually the framework. These are all technical terms and everything is a metaphor, and I'm applying this to the growth challenges of companies. The framework is who does and doesn't do what and why. The definition of a framework is a supporting structure around which something can be built, a system of rules, ideas, or beliefs that is used to plan or decide something. So, and when I actually approach this, I try to find out within marketing, development, and product, who does what, and if they even know why they are doing things. The why is becoming very important. And actually, I'm also looking at what things don't get done at all. And after I figured, I got the parts together and figured out what it is, I'm starting at the debugging process. Debugging process is a very technical term for looking at things. It's just really looking at things until you kind of realize what may be going on. And the idea is actually that you remember how a working company, a working organization actually looks like and how it's behaved. That's the plus set of experience. And then thinking hard around what do you need to look at to get more data. And when you got this, you got to the next step, the step number 4, and setting up a test environment. And then chaos monkey it. So what does this actually mean? This is what I do. I get marketing, development, product into the same physical room. By the way, I really hate Zoom meetings. Zoom meetings are very inefficient, especially if they're cross-department. And I'm definitely part of the Zoom counter-revolution. So I get these people into the same room. It might be a lot of people, but they really like management and whoever actually do the things, and get in the same room. And like one anecdotal, I was very early involved into a big e-commerce project, like one of my big failures, but I was very early involved in a big e-commerce project of the Austrian Postal Service. And there actually, what actually happened was that the content responsible person was in the room, and the person who was actually in charge of building this whole project, and the content person was actually an intern, a Praktikantin, and the person who was in charge of it was actually in the Aufsichtsrat. And they naturally saw it time for the first time, and then they kind of realized that there is not everything is like set up correctly. Yeah, still, I can't do any wonders, so this is what happened. So I get those people in the same physical room. If they first see each other for the first time, then actually I don't have to do much because they just start talking. And then actually I throw all of the stuff to them. It's like chaos monkey actually means you just take everything that you know and every hypothesis, every data, every assumption, you just throw it at them and then actually you see what happens. And sometimes like there are breakdowns, actually quite often. Sometimes people leave the room. At one point, like the 2-part workshop, I did this, and the person who actually was in charge of the product quit between first day and second day. There's like a one day break, and the person actually quit the company in this day between. So also, but it was a progress because something happened. And yeah, so actually see what's going to happen. And usually it's chaos. But basically, in this chaos, that's why it's called chaos monkey, there is something called honesty. And at this moment, you actually see the state of the system. What is working? How are they working together? What are the dynamics? And systems here, it's just called, like a little bit esoteric, it's called getting the beat of the system, but actually you know then the state of the system. And this is something that I deeply need, because only then, when you know where you currently are and how it's currently working, you actually can then improve something. And the next thing is actually, what developers always ask is, what are we doing here anyway? But it's the wrong question. It's actually why. Why are we doing here anyway? And this is also, when you make changes and try to get execution started, you need to ask, why do we even want to change things? And in these parts, these are the parts I'm working with, like marketing, development, and product. The first question is actually why do you even want change? Why do you want growth? Why do you want to get better? And then usually I get some goals. And the goals is like improving sales like 50% this year, getting 20% more revenue or something like this. But the truth is that these business goals, who knows these business goals of these organizations, like really from heart? Okay, most don't. The thing is, if you just know these business goals, most people within a company, and they do not care about business goals. They really don't. It's just something that like in the yearly review it comes up, and then actually you talk about it. But otherwise, it's not about. They do not care this deeply about it. So there isn't this much gravitational pull to actually change something and to work together. Only when you then ask, what's the meaning? Why actually is this goal the goal? What is the meaning of this goal? Actually, where do you think that the value of the organization, of the company is actually coming from? Then actually you get a much better gravitational pull towards a common greater goal. But even this one is not enough. And in the end, what I need to establish and find out is actually GTBD. GTBD, it's short for job to be done, and the job to be done is actually what value do we actually provide to the end users? So actually, what is the unspoken direction the end user actually wants to have, and what is actually where can we support our the end users? And only when there's like a common understanding what the people you want to reach actually want, then actually you get a much better gravitational pull to align all of these aspects. If you do not get this right, then the companies, these parts will still fight each other. The next thing is, and this is a little bit a very strange thing, because I think it must be like clear as hell, but you need to understand side effects. And side effects is a developer term actually for value, for something actually happening, for something being recognizable. Value happens outside of a function. The thing is, side effects are something positive. A function is said to have a side effect if it modifies some state of it outside of its local environment. That is to say, it has an outside of itself observable effect. The thing is, marketing doesn't produce any value. Developers do not produce any value. Product doesn't produce any value on its own. Because these are just functions. And if a developer code something, create something, but it doesn't go to market, then it's nothing valuable. If the market is internal market, if the market is outside, but still actually it needs to reach the people. On the other hand, if you market something that doesn't exist, and there's a lot of marketing that doesn't exist, then you do not create any value. And if you have a product that doesn't get marketed or doesn't get developed, there is also no value. The value is actually just coming when these parts of the company actually leave their own function, and is outside recognizable. And I have been in vice president of growth for a credit card company in London, and it was a hyperscale startup. And I just always called them like apes and computers, because it was the most stressful, most busiest environment you could imagine. It was like 200 people in a very small office, and there was always something going on, and everybody was stressed, and they did a lot of work. But the thing is, it never reached outside, or it hardly reached anything outside of the department, and it never reached the outside. During my time there, it never reached the outside of the company. And when I actually came there, and I made sure that there was an effect outside of the company, like it was a huge internal shitstorm. Yeah. So you need to have an impact outside, and this is only when these parts actually work together. And this is a little bit of an understanding that the departments, when they do not execute anymore, need to understand. And this understanding alone actually solves a lot. So the next thing is understanding. Yeah, that's a special thing. Because the secret weapon of a successful project is to actually understand what you're doing. Like, you do not only do the things, like because a keynote speaker said something, or you got inspired, or you read a blog post, and then you do it. You need to actually understand why you are doing the things. And this is the most important part. And the better you understand what you're doing, the better you will actually do it. And the thing is, daily business is the enemy of understanding. Most projects fail to execute, to get growth, is because there is just too much daily business going on within the companies. And the one thing that every successful, good developer actually knows is it's more important to reduce the effort of maintenance, like the thing that is actually the work that you're going to have in the future, than to reduce the effort of the current implementation. And the effort of maintenance is proportional to the complexity of the system. And going this like this, it's more important to reduce the resulting extra daily business of any task, of any project that you're doing, than to reduce the effort of the actual implementation of when you set up the project. Project should and can be lots of work, but the resulting extra daily business should actually be down. And the more complex an organization is, the more daily business is going actually on. And daily business is the accumulated effort to manage a complete organization. So we have now a conference here and a lot of inspiration. And on Monday, who has his first show fix on a Monday? There. Me too. So, do you think that these show fixes are always like a good thing? Like everybody loves a meeting, good meetings, give me another meeting. And this is daily business, or another form. And this is actually a daily business that's going on. And this daily business, it always gets more and more. And it's actually the big elephant on the meeting room table, because there are things that's going on, and people are going in there and actually they know what they need to do, but in the end they don't do it because there's so much other thing that they're actually doing. And to get rid of this daily business, this is a development term. It's actually called refactoring. And developers love talking about refactoring because actually what they're doing, they actually take a piece of code that is actually working perfectly fine, and they just change it to do the exact same thing. And they do this again, and then there's like huge sprints, and they're just doing refactoring, going in there, doing the exact same thing, so that this piece of code does the exact same thing again. And why are they doing this? This is actually refactor means you create the same output, but in an internal, cleaner, and more sense-making way. It just needs to make more sense for you. And it must be in a kind of cleaner way. So you do the exact same thing on an organizational level, but the resulting daily business, the complexity of the daily business, the resulting daily business will actually go down. And only if you manage this, and this is basically really the breaking point, only when you have like this huge growth project, if the daily business that is currently available is going down, then actually you can change things around. You can move things around, make people, departments do very different things. And this is actually the easy part, like you say something, do this, and move this one, and now basically you buy a new tool and doing new resources. This is actually quite simple. But, okay, I need to speed up. Move things around, make people, departments do different things, and that's actually quite easy. And if you do this, you get like growth curves like this, and everything goes up. And this only works when I do this. I love execution. I do not care about innovation. And I'm Franz Enzenhofer. I'm a developer. I work as growth and SEO consultant. And are there any questions?
I'll give you this. When you ask to get a little bit quicker, you definitely go fucking quicker.
Yeah.
As we're like, okay, you want me to be finished? I'll finish.
Yeah.
So there must be some questions from the crowd after such an interesting and triggering conversation. Who has a question for Franz?
Please.
Because otherwise he probably charges €1,000 an hour. So here's a free chance for you to learn something while he's on stage.
Also, I will just pick the person who looks the most uncomfortable, and you have to ask a question. So, yeah, shoot.
I have a question. How big are teams you work with?
Okay, that's a very good question. The teams I'm actually then, like my contact persons that I actually have, I love 12 is a good number. I love 12, but sometimes there's like 20 to 50. And currently there's a lot of these hyperscale startups, and they have really huge teams, which I do not like this much, but it can be sometimes up to 50 people.
So do you then
The people then I try to actually work with, I try to get a mixture of, I get to get a mixture of actually people who are like in a management position and are active management, like they do not just manage daily business, but they want to reach something, and people who actually do the things. And then actually I get it down. And quite often, if there's like, I do not like Scrum Masters. Nobody likes. Sometimes project manager, I like to get rid of them. So basically, it's this mixture. But usually I try to get it down until a group of 12 people.
Jeff Bezos calls that a pizza meeting, right?
Yes.
It's a two pizza rule. If you can't have meetings and teams where you can't feed them with 2 pizzas, then your team is too big.
Yeah. But even with like 12 people, the people do not get
Must be pretty big
pizza,
pizzas,
so
by
that's
the
a
way.
problem.
So, Franz, thank you very, very much for your talk today. He's going to stay around if you've got extra questions. We're going to run through 1 half-minute promotional spot and then move on to the next. We're going to
One very important thing, please tag me in your Insta stories. So that's, okay, thanks a lot.